Hey, Ahmed Baba, how you doing? Don Lemon here. Two brothers talking. Smash the screen. Make sure you so people can become aware of our conversation. This is an important one. We have a lot going on this week. A lot of authoritarianism, and it couldn't have happened at a worse time if you consider what's happening in the streets and what's happening in the schools and in
hmm
churches with kids being killed. And yeah. And then we wondered on our show earlier whether the MAGA was a death cult, because not only that, you have the issues with the CDC, what RFK
hmm
Jr. is doing, the firing of people resigning over at the CDC.
Yep.
Where do you want to start?
I mean, we could start with the CDC just because it was like a massacre. It was like a Nixon era purge that was ongoing, right? We had Susan Monterez, who was CDC director, who essentially at first HHS just tweeted that she was no longer the director, and then there was that post from a lawyer that said no, she had actually not been officially fired and she was going to refuse to resign. Then the White House says nope, she's out. And it's very clear RFK is trying to inflict his conspiratorial vision on the CDC. And then there's an expert revolt that's ongoing. There was three other resignations. I think there might even be more since last time I checked. And I think it's in response to that new vaccine guidance that we saw where they're saying under 65, you need a pre-existing condition. There's also this incoming autism study. I'm worried, man. I think we're going to see a CDC that is more reflective of RFK in the coming weeks and months, man. What do you think?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of like the Bureau of Labor Statistics. If they don't like it, they fire people, or they say that the information that this agency is giving is not factual.
hmm
And that has been the sort of if you could call it the hallmark of the Trump administration the first time and this time, is to attack institutions.
hmm
And so, if you can attack institutions and you can undermine public trust in institutions and in government, then you can create your own reality. And so, then what's
Exactly.
real? And we have difficulty, as we do now, distinguishing what's real and what's not, truth versus facts, reality versus fiction, not non-reality. So, I think it's a hallmark of the Trump administration, and I think that's their goal,
hmm
is to do that. And it's scary because it's very 1938 to me, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, and you're right. That's the through line. It's like if someone in the administration is willing to push back against the false reality they're presenting, they're just out. From like you said, BLS, the Bureau of Labor Statistics, presents accurate economic data. She gets pushed out.
Hmm.
Here, Fed Governor Lisa Cook, they want her out the way, so they go and try to dig into her mortgage records. They have a Bill Pulte using his agency to just find dirt on people.
Hmm.
Lisa Cook, Letitia James, Adam Schiff on the mortgage stuff, and then they want to remove Lisa Cook. She's trying to fight, but so he can go ahead and push down interest rates, which we can get into what that would mean, the ramifications of that on the impact on the central bank later. But overall, yeah, you got the Lisa Cook attempt to oust, you got the BLS chief ousted, you've got now Susan Monterez, CDC director, being ousted because RFK wants to push. He wants to validate his conspiracy theories. That's what he wants to commission these fake studies. I'm really just like we can't trust what's coming out of DHS, what's coming out of these other agencies. We're going to not be able to trust what's coming out of our public health apparatus when there's like a new strain of COVID and like what they try to make pandemics great again. Like what is the objective here? Like,
Well, yeah, you're right. It's the same. I mean, Lisa Monterez is the same as Susan Monterez, excuse me, is the same as Lisa Cook, because he wanted Lisa Cook to resign. She said no, and then he sent her a letter saying he's firing her. Susan Monterez said he wanted her to resign. She said no, and then he sent a note saying you're fired. But then on top of that, as you have been pointing out, there people are resigning because they don't want to work under these conditions. What does that do? It again, it undermines our entire health system.
mm-hmm,
And we know how he hated the CDC during the first administration, like, right, because of
mm-hmm,
COVID. He's like, oh my gosh, what they're doing is wrong, and they're anti-Trump. Anyone who and they were in the middle of a pandemic. He happened to be the president. but somehow he thought that they were out to get him, that people are targeting him. It's just
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
It's unbelievable. And the thing is, like you said, he expressed anger at the CDC. But if they weren't there during 2020, it would have been even worse if we didn't have Fauci, if we didn't have the people of the CDC, we didn't have Operation Warp Speed, we didn't have people around Trump that would pressure him to fund that, right? Instead, imagine, let's say the pandemic were to happen 2 years from now in a RFK
God,
fully controlled CDC, and
God.
we have experts that just, well, not experts. We have non-experts that are in there that are just following Trump's advice or following RFK's advice and not trying to push the vaccine. It's just the brain drain in government right now and what they're doing just to engineer it into their vision. It's unbelievable. It's on all fronts and it's picking up speed. Like it slowed down for a little bit now, but now we've got from DC to the city takeover, the threats and the DC takeover to now the CDC, Lisa Cook. We don't know who knows what's going to happen with Jerome Powell in the next couple weeks and month. It's it's just it's I don't know, man. It's picking up speed. It's kind of getting increasingly concerning, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, look, Lisa Monterez's attorneys, as soon after the statement, soon after what happened to her, after it was announced, they put out a statement saying um, that the HHS Secretary Robert Kennedy Jr. was weaponizing public health for political gain and putting millions of American lives at risk by purging
Mhm.
health officials from government. If you don't agree with us, then we're going to get rid of you. That's authoritarianism.
It's straight authoritarianism, and it's clear RFK wanted to validate these conspiracy theories, wanted to follow through on his personal promise to restrict COVID vaccines. He keeps talking about this incoming study that is apparently going to try to seek a connection between immunization and autism. And if these people are resigning in mass right now, I'm wondering what's coming down the pike. And at the CDC, I'm wondering what else RFK is going to be doing here
You,
because there's clearly something else happening as
you
well.
know what's coming down the pike. Public distrust, but do you know what's coming down the pike is some crazy lunatic thing that RFK wants to do. It's the
Mm-hmm.
same thing as well. Abby Lowell is also representing um, Lisa Cook,
Yeah.
and they put out a statement saying when CDC Director Susan Monterez refused to rubber stamp unscientific reckless directives and fire dictated health experts.
Mm-hmm.
She dedicated, excuse me, health experts. She chose protecting the public over serving a political agenda. That's what Abby Lowell said in a statement. For that reason, she was targeted.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah. She was
yeah,
targeted for doing her job. And the thing is, Susan Monterey, this is someone who is a confirmed. It's a Trump pick. This is someone who's confirmed by the Senate. This is someone. This isn't some like Biden holdover that is sitting there trying to. This is just someone who's like saying, oh no, even RFK, this is too far for her, right? And this is and then you have the people there. Again, it's just when you don't do what this admin says, they will push you aside. We have that with Lisa Cook. We have that with Susan Monterez now. And on the Lisa Cook front, like it's just again, the objective is so short term because just like with the CDC, you're going to erode public trust. You're going to, if a crisis happens, what are we going to be doing? And then now with the Fed, if they actually remove Lisa Cook and then they put pressure the Fed to become an arm of Trump, this has happened in Turkey. Erdogan did this to the central bank there. In Argentina, this happened to their central bank. This is what ended up happening was runaway inflation, currency deflating. Like this is not going to end well, but they're doing it anyway because Trump's so focused on short-term gains because he's trying to put a band-aid on the economy he broke. And it's just all of it's coming together here in this power grab that we're seeing across the government. Again, all Project 2025, dismantled administrative state stuff. It's just ongoing, and Republicans are doing absolutely nothing to stop it. Bill Cassidy owns this. Susan Collins owns this. Anyone who voted for him.
yeah. And the legislative branch has essentially been neutered. Now, I've gone to two events where people who, work in government or either in agencies that fight for the rights of people. And the sentiment that I get around the table is that from when the officials are speaking is that in pretty much every question, Ahmed, is like, you know what? I know you think you're winning cases, you're doing all this, you're fighting back, but the the administration is defying federal judges. The administration is not listening to the legislative branch, Congress, Senate. They don't care. Even if a judge tells them to do something, they won't do it. So what's the point? And then all they do is they keep appealing, and then they'll
Hmm.
go to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court is going to give them what they want. The Trump administration is winning right now. What can we do? And not many of these people really have a good answer for it, because people didn't think that we'd had this level of corruption and authoritarianism in America. We just sort of trusted that our leaders would abide by the Constitution and follow general norms. Not
Exactly.
happening now.
Not happening now. And these norms, man, like they got to be codified into law. If we get a Democratic president in the future, because it's just, again, Trump came in here, he's finding every single loophole, he's exploiting every single norm, he's going and digging in DC's law and the Home Rule Act to find that there was a 30-day window that he could do this takeover. He's exploiting everything, and that's why you need, Democrats in the future to focus on, sweeping anti-corruption laws, anti-authoritarianism measures at the legislative level. But obviously we're not there yet. So the focus is, what do we do now? And I really think, I mean, again, our midterms are the best shot. Of course, they're trying to take that from us with gerrymandering, but
That's
but
you're making the point. There you go.
but
What I
yeah,
just said.
yeah, they're taking that away from us with the gerrymandering. But you know, it's just his unpopularity is so high. I'm hoping that maybe turnout will be so high that it might be insurmountable for Republicans, even with that, because I think we're going to see a lot of low propensity voters out there. But yeah, I mean, I think a lot of this is, of course, trying to demoralize us, right? Like the speed at which they've been acting in the last month and a half has been unprecedented. Like he's just moving from thing to thing. The Epstein files happened, and then he got into panic mode and just like, I'm ramping up. And people are overwhelmed. The courts are overwhelmed. People are overwhelmed in the streets. And you know, I'm just hoping that, again, it sucks that elections seem to be the only thing that can help us here. But I mean, Republicans at some point need to look out for their own self. Are they willing to lose their seats for this? Because it's going to impact them down ballot. Every generic ballot poll I see has them underwater.
Yeah, but yes, underwater. But that's why they're working so hard to try to rig to redraw these maps and rig the midterms. But the lies that they are telling. I mean, he tells one lie after I've stopped 10 wars, 8 wars, 7 wars, 6 wars, 3 wars, and you're like, which ones? And you look at the fact checks, and none of it's true. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
I'll say, but mostly false, because he was not even involved in some of the conflicts, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
it is not clear to the people who were involved, the governments who were involved, or whatever the two different sides are, that Donald Trump had anything to do with it. Was it perhaps NATO? Was it perhaps nation members? Okay, yes, but is that directly Donald Trump? And now he wants a peace prize for this. But he keeps saying over and over again. I heard him in the Oval Office say it a couple of times. Have you seen what's happening with the restaurants and the business owners? They love us. They say the restaurants are crowded. I was on live yesterday with Miles Taylor. Nobody on the street. I think maybe 6 people walked behind him. Nobody sitting at cafes. All of the chairs were stacked up outside. Nobody like hanging out. It was almost rush hour, right? It was almost a happy hour, and nothing is happening. People are afraid to go out. And if you speak with Sean Townsend from the Restaurant Association, very similar thing.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it's picked back up, but not nearly to the levels it should be in order for people to sustain their businesses.
Yeah, we're seeing reservations down. We're seeing DC becoming a ghost town in a lot of ways. And again, he's inflicting all of this fear, and the people in DC are upset. They don't like this. But they're pushing back in some ways.
But the lies too from Stephen Miller and Trump. Oh, people are telling us that they are so happy they can walk down the street, they can
Yeah,
take their kids to Union Square. It's like, what?
it's just nonsense.
It's nonsense. Look, but also if you have this out there, and look, crime is down everywhere, right? Crime is down in DC, and so the mayor Muriel Bowser came out and said, "We appreciate it. Crime has been down. We appreciate the resources, but we don't need, ICE agents. We don't
Yeah.
need Border Patrol agents on our streets
Yeah, exactly.
detaining people."
Yeah, and I was on with Stephanie Rule last night talking about this exact thing with Mario Browser, because what she's trying to do is thread that needle where it's like, yeah, sure, crime's a problem, but this is not the solution. To have National Guard troops on our street, and right now there's so little crime, they're just picking up garbage now. Do you see them? They got their vests on.
No,
They have National Guard troops because they gutted the Park Service and they gutted funding for that. National Guard troops are in DC, like picking up garbage and like doing like park servicing stuff, because again, there's no crime emergency here. Like you said, crime in DC, violent crimes at a 30-year low. It's down 26% from this time last year to now. That's the case in every city he's targeting.
but those numbers are fake.
Yeah, the numbers are, of course, the numbers are fake, right? I guess the numbers are also fake in Baltimore, where violent crime's at a 50-year low, and Chicago, where there's a decline, and Oakland. And again, he's targeting these blue cities in blue states with black mayors, and not talking about any of the Republican states. 13 of the 20 US cities with the highest homicide rates are in Republican states. And homeboy doesn't want to talk about that. He doesn't want to talk about these Republican states because he just wants to, he's trying to put Democrats on the defensive on crime because he's failing on all his other issues. That's
You
what
mean
it's
he's
about.
not sending National Guard troops to the red states? He's not sending National Guard troops
Nope.
to Louisiana. He's actually using Louisiana's National Guard when Louisiana has one of the highest homicide rates
Mhm.
in the country. He's not sending troops there, as well
No,
as other red states.
one would think maybe it's not about crime. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's about a spectacle, not safety. He's just,
Did you see the cabinet meeting day before yesterday?
unfortunately, yes, I did. Oh my God, man. Ugh, these people, how do they have no shame or embarrassment? The groveling?
And that was, what's his name? There's a one black cabinet official for HUD. What's his name? Taylor. I forget what his
Oh,
name.
yeah. I think I erased it from my memory because
Jackson or something like that. Sean Jackson
yeah.
or something like that. Um,
Oh, yes. Oh, Scott Turner, I
Scott
think.
Turner. Scott Turner. The
Oh,
first thing he's like, Scott, yes, sir. That was the first thing out of his mouth. I'm not kidding. I was like, oh,
God. Ugh. Just, just being the one token black in there. Just,
bro.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's just like, come on, man. Like, they were all in there just groveling, going around giving these speeches on how beautiful he is and wonderful he is. And he's the most handsome guy on earth. And he golfs, a perfect game. And he's just the best. It's just like, I don't see how people like, it's just, I get like the lawmakers, but how can some American, like, it still has me shook. People can see the groveling and be like, you know what, this is a normal political movement. This is not a personality call. It's just, again, and the impact of that is what we're seeing. He has no one around him to say, hey, maybe it's not a good idea. There's no Gary Cohn in there to say it's not a good idea to levy these tariffs on India when we're trying to box in China.
Yeah.
Not a good idea to, no Mark Esper to say, let's not, put the military on the streets. And that's what we're seeing.
You got to try to, do what you're doing with vaccines and to fire, the CDC and the brain drain that's going on. And none of this is a good idea.
No,
Yeah.
it's not.
Ahmed, thank you, sir.
Good talking to you.
you.
Always good catching
Until
up.
next time, two brothers talking.
Yep. Hit the like button. And before y'all go, hit that subscribe button right at the top.
Right at the
Pump
top.
this
Yes.
thing up. All right, guys.
Thank you. I'll see you later, Ahmed.
All right. See you, brother.
Thanks everyone for watching. Your support means the world to us. So make sure you hit the like button and you subscribe to our channel to make sure that you never ever miss a video. We're live every day, 10 a.m. Eastern time. We drop even more content at 2 p.m. Eastern and 5 p.m. Eastern. And if you want more Don Lemon Show content, we'd love for you to become a member of the Lemon community, where you will receive access to special community posts. You'll get exclusive content and members-only live shows. So head over to our channel page or click the join button on this video. Again, thank you for watching. We appreciate your love and your support, and we will see you next time.